Imagine you're a business owner relying on a dozen different software programs, each one disconnected, more expensive, and more complicated than the last. It can be incredibly stressful, right? Now, picture Odoo. Odoo brings all the tools your business needs into one simple platform. CRM, accounting, inventory, manufacturing, marketing, HR, and more. All seamlessly connected. Everything works together, giving you the peace of mind that your business is running smoothly from every angle. Odoo's open source applications are user-friendly and designed to scale with your business, saving you time and money. Say goodbye to juggling multiple platforms and hello to efficient, integrated management. Stop wasting resources on complicated systems and make the switch to Odoo today. Visit odoo.com, ODOO.com, and discover how Odoo can simplify and streamline your business operations. Odoo, modern management made simple.
This is Optimal Living Daily, the Spiky Geographic Nature of Success by Colin Wright of ExileLifestyle.com. And I'm Justin Malik, your personal narrator, and we're going to get right to it as we optimize your life. The Spiky Geographic Nature of Success by Colin Wright of ExileLifestyle.com. Comical goals. When I was a wee lad, I was certain I'd be the next Todd McFarlane. I was going to be a comic book creator of such prestige and influence that I would end up with movie deals for the worlds I would envision and illustrate, along with action figures that the children of the world would beg their parents for. I would be edgy and maintain a standard of excellence not found in the comic book industry at the time. The art of success. Well, that dream lasted until I discovered the worlds of fine art and journalism. Both captured my imagination around the same time, and I had plans, huge plans, to be a big-time journalist in the tradition of Woodward and Bernstein, uncovering big stories and informing the public. On the side, I would create striking and clever editorial cartoons that would bring the big issues to the public in a manner they could understand. In my remaining free time, I would paint contemporary works of art that would capture the popular imagination and excite the connoisseur, maybe opening my own gallery in Soho with an interior that would be as glorious as the works on the wall. Designing a successful life. And then I went to college and discovered design, a term I knew, of course, but I always figured it was just laying out ads for newspapers. Honestly, it wasn't terribly clear to me where art ended and design began. And once I learned the difference, my journalistic and fine art endeavors took a back seat as I threw myself into my newly discovered passion, intending to be the next Sagmeister or a contemporary Milton Glaser, upsetting the status quo, experimenting as a methodology, and pushing myself ruthlessly to develop a unique style and approach. At this point, the dream was to open up an uber awesome studio in New York that would be known for innovation and high quality work. I'd take on projects large and small, from the most niche gig poster to wall graphics for newly renovated skyscrapers. My only condition to take on a project would be creative freedom and the potential end result of the work. The harsh reality. This vision of my future lasted until I moved to Los Angeles and started working for a boutique studio right after I graduated from college. I had so many ideas of how things could be run, how things should operate and could be done better, but for a studio with overhead, salaries to pay, doors to keep open, bureaucracy to navigate, the people in charge generally have to be very selective in what projects are taken, and the criteria is not quality, it's monetary. You go after the low-hanging fruit, the projects that can be knocked out with templates or done by cheap third parties, or you can't compete. This isn't absolute, of course, as there are many really great studios out there that do amazingly high-quality work consistently. The trouble is that most studios operate this way, and if you're one of the idealistic few who demand quality in everything you make for a client, you likely have a hard time competing with the bargain basement prices of your competitors. The business of success. Fortunately, during my college design frenzy, I racked up a whole lot of business experience when I started 2 companies and made a whole lot of mistakes and a few successes. I decided to get the bitter taste of the real world of the design business out of my mouth by starting up my own studio, and after a whole lot of hard work, I had, on a very small scale, the kind of studio I had been lusting after for so long. But the funny thing about success is that once you've achieved it, there are always new horizons. After a few years in LA with a successful and very rapidly growing business, I had a terrible realization. I was starting to plateau, slowly but surely. The geography of success. I wasn't at the top at this point, I'm still not. But after a series of very interesting and tempting opportunities came my way, I could see the top. And I panicked. There was nothing else beyond it. It was the end of the earth, and once I got up there, I'd be stuck. I'd have to be certain to buy a comfy chair because I wouldn't be going anywhere. So rather than risk losing my sanity to boredom, I set my sights across international borders at the most difficult thing I could possibly think of, throwing myself into new situations daily where sink or swim is a constant reality, and miniature victories and defeats would have me tiptoeing the line between success and failure every moment of every day. A nice change of landscape. Is this an extreme solution? Of course, but it's the only way I could think of to solve the horizon problem of success. That is, the fact that even the most fantastic ambition can be achieved, and when someone reaches the highest peak they can imagine, they can either plateau or jump headfirst off the ridge. I chose to move to a new geographic region completely, one in which there are an infinite number of mountains to scale, and many of them are connected. I can reach the top of a mountain every day if I like, but there will always be a higher peak off in the distance to conquer, and I wouldn't have it any other way. You just listened to the post titled, The Spiky Geographic Nature of Success by Colin Wright of ExileLifestyle.com, and I'll be right back with my commentary. Thank you to Instacart. I'm always looking for ways to streamline my life, and after the relaxed pace of summer, settling back into a routine can be overwhelming, especially with meal prep. This is where the convenience and quality of Instacart are a total game changer. With just a few taps, I can get everything for my weekly meals with delivery via Instacart in as fast as 30 minutes. The service has always been reliable for me, and I trust the experienced shoppers to pick fresh, high-quality ingredients just as I would. It's a seamless way Instacart helps to deliver my essentials, freeing me up to focus on my wellness instead of spending time on errands. Instacart brings convenience, quality, and ease right to your door so you can focus on what matters most. Download the Instacart app and use code OPTIMAL20 to get $20 off your first order of $80 or more. That's code OPTIMAL20 to get $20 off your first order of $80 or more. Offer valid for a limited time. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms apply. Thank you to Colin. He wrote an update to this post, so I'll share that now. Update December 1st, 2016. I still use that metaphor all the time. Learning is pursuing a horizon. And once you breach it, you will always find more horizons. It's this nature of growth that I believe incentivizes a person to be both humble and confident. The first because you become increasingly aware of how little you know and how much you'll always have left to learn. And the second because you come to know over time that if you need to learn something, you can. You're capable of learning anything should you choose to. So thank you again to Colin. I could definitely relate to his story. Between the ages of 8 and 12-ish, I was convinced I'd be a pediatrician, which is not at all what I'm interested in now. But that was my big mountain and what success looked like. Then in high school and early college, I got really into music, and it looked like that could be my new mountain, only until I realized that I was actually more interested in the business side of music than anything else. So like Colin, the horizon shifted again and again and again. In any case, it's always about enjoying the climb more so than arriving at the peak itself. Sure, that moment of the peak is nice, but then what? At that point, you just have to find another peak. So find what peaks interest you today, or what piques your interest today. Thank you for being here and listening to me, and for subscribing to or following the show, and I'll be back tomorrow reading to you where your optimal life awaits.